Welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at the Battle of Afrin, which has just been completed, in the sense that the Turkish Army is now in Afrin. There's not much really sort of historically poignant about this. You know, I just plonked in some forces. The only thing that I would say that is moderately sort of accurate, let me just see whether we've got the map here, it is sort of that, I based it on that, so obviously coming from this way and from this way. I mean, at what stage this was in comparison to that map, I don't know where the main drive of their force came from, here or here, but you know, so they didn't come from this way or this way, and that's basically what I've reflected in that. So we've got the choice of coming from this way and or this way. Not really going to play it all the way through, but so essentially, I don't know what to say really. Suppose you can get we've got two fronts there and there, looking to move in like that. Obviously, I don't think there's anything particularly strategic about which way to do. You know, the roads, you know, might be sort of obvious, but there are well, there's some entrenchment things there. Stop blocking that road. I thought they were on this road, but I think actually I accidentally deleted them. Let me just put them back. It won't be on this game though, won't it? Yeah, so I just added that back in, but it won't be on this game unless I go in and play it again. In which case, there they are. So, now, with regards to what's why, I think the first thing obviously to do is to sort of do some analysis on where things are. I mean, I don't really know where things are, but presumably, you know, there's a big motorised sort of block there, some armour, mechanised artillery with mechanised, with the Free Syrian Army sort of as a screen. Exactly the same sort of structure here. We've got some artillery, armour, mechanised, infantry, motorised. So not a huge amount, but enough to probably handle themselves. I'm not really sure how much of a punch the Kurds can sort of give back. The only thing I would say is that most things start off entrenched on this front line, so once we knock those out, the front line should fall significantly. But they have got some rockets and some air defence. So the rockets, there's 4 lots of rockets, but they've only got a range of 2. So a range of 2, 1, 2. You know, that's not sort of that far around. So once we get into that range, the Turkish Army will be exposed to the sort of counter fire that will cause it damage. If it plays its cards right, there shouldn't be any reason why any of these units should cause it any particular damage. I mean, they've got some anti-tank units down here, which means that the tanks probably have to watch out where they are. But other than that, it's not going to be that difficult. You know, I don't think it is difficult, and it wasn't difficult. It's just a case of the Turkish Army had to do it. Well, they've now sort of moved in now. I should do that one really. I don't know, it's in there somewhere. Anyway, so let me think. Well, I think the way I'm going to approach this from this first angle here is to anchor along this river line. I know I can just cross it, but what I'm saying is sort of push along here and up like that to sort of maintain that, and then push that. So basically taking all this out, and that will open up the road, and then we can sort of force that road and possibly force these units back that way. I mean, you know, when you consider sort of fields of force, etc., as opposed to sort of, you know, pushing more centrally across the board. I think I'm going to really, you know, do it as I just said there. Here, I think I'm going to go like this and push this way, coming around there to try and ignore this block. So essentially this will all be ignored, and most of this will be ignored. Obviously you can redirect it and really position it, so it'll probably push things further back this way. So these units, which will be ignored, will probably fall back. So we can possibly expect that. I don't know, but obviously I can't figure everything out all in one go. So I think the first thing to do is to, now they're going to just sort of sit there basically. And this works for us as much as it works for them. I don't feel we're under any due risk there. And so as the first sort of move, oops, I don't know how that happened. I should have movement left for this artillery. Yeah. Okay. Now what do I want to do with the artillery? Well, let's use it on this. Why not? No effect. Well, let's send in some helicopters. 0.5. I'll save the airstrike for the northeastern, the other half of the game. Well, if he's doubled to 6, that'll be 8, 12, 16. So it should be 2 to 1 with the armour, possibly a 3 or 4 to 1 with his depressions. I haven't got any flanks. 3, 4 to 1. Yep, and a DE. So that was good. Got movement on that left, and I'm going to use that to push this way. Now I want to definitely leave the FSA, they probably can't move anyway, with the artillery, and hopefully, I wonder what they're like in defence. Let's have a quick look at the rules because I can never remember. Anti-tank. Anti-tank units versus tank only have their strength multiplied by 10. In defence, if an anti-tank unit is present and it is being attacked by a stack of armour or mechanised infantry, its defence will be multiplied by 5. Well, that's good to know. because they'll be worth 10 in there. I need to get some infantry in before I can do that. That's sort of interesting, really. Okay, well, we can still take out these units here. And an exchange. Okay. Well, that wasn't good. Could have done this before. Look at that, stick it all in there. Six to 1 DE. Okay, we'll leave all that as it is, and we're going to go for this unit. So let's try some air power on it. So we can I know I sort of missed actually. We did point A. I didn't double up the. I did intend to double up the artillery. I'm just going to do that now, but it'll be too late on this game. Oh, that's so funny because I've absolutely no idea how long I wasn't recording for. I really don't. I managed to get through 12 minutes, and I think I have missed a huge amount. I mean, I don't know where the video stopped recording. I really don't. I said all sorts of really funny things as well. Essentially, the Kurds took their turn and they attacked this armoured stack here, forcing it to retreat. There and there, I think. And I was just talking about how significant that was in terms of events. Possibly a little bit similar to some of these videos you see of sort of, you know, units using anti-tank missiles against tanks. There's a lot of that sort of on the YouTube type channels, news channels and things. Whenever that happens, it always seems to be sort of like a clever video. And I was just saying that you could almost gauge this game in terms of victories for the Kurds based on the number of times they get any Turkish unit to retreat, because they're not going to win, but it's a sort of a propaganda type, morale type situation. Whereas if they can do it with, you know, a significant amount of damage, then you get a sort of, not so much tactical victory, but you can still claim the victory from the Kurds' point of view within the game mechanics, so to speak. And that would have been a big one. That would have been sort of quite a significant event. You missed that, I think. So over here, I just sort of moved up here. I did actually detail what my plan of action was, but I think that again didn't record. Essentially, I moved these irregulars down here. There were some units here. I moved them down here. There was some. I moved the anti-tank down here. This little guy, I think, came from here or came through here, and I pushed one of these units this way and 4 more of them there, and these are all sort of remaining static, really. So I'm gonna leave it at that because I don't want to sort of go on too far. Plus, half the video is sort of a bit bonked out. But I did say I wasn't going to do any more. Whether that's recorded, I don't know. But there's plenty of scope for it. I think you just got to have a bit of time, an inclination to sort of do it, which I don't really have at the moment. But I sort of want to get a video out, and this has been sort of a bit bogged down. I had a huge amount of new titles, and then I spent ages doing them and sort of lost track of actually what's happening. But I looked on the news today, it was the first time for about a week, and see that the Turkish have taken Afrin, so I thought I'd knock this one together to reflect that. So if you want to have a blast, get a flavour for sort of how that operation worked, then sign up and give it a go, and see how you fare. Basically, the Turks should win, but again, it's just sort of how many retreats can you get and how difficult can you make it. And I think it will get a little trickier as these forces fall back like this, and the lines become denser and everything becomes a little bit more involved, because the Turks don't have a lot, so it's really a case of moving forward cautiously, doing one sort of action at a time and making sure that you win. So we won there and we won there, but we have been a bit pushed back, sort of more there. But anyway, so I'll leave it at that. I hope you enjoyed that, and remember, you can sign up and play it yourself, and I'll speak to you later. Cheerio, bye.